I have 80 seconds. Tell Americans what it's like if they don't stand up against this right now. What's coming?
It will end up in total control of every facet of your life. They're already bringing in the social credit score that they pioneered in China. They're pairing it with the digital currencies, and they want to make it so that they will track your carbon footprint. They will track your attitudes and your opinions online. They will track everything that you buy to determine whether you're making appropriate choices. They will track where you're tithing, what church you're tithing at, what organizations and ministries you're giving to. It will create a dossier, a comprehensive dossier on every American, which will, of course, be processed through artificial intelligence. And if we don't stop it, it will culminate in exactly what Klaus describes in his book on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, a fusion of our biological and our digital identities that will be impossible to escape from. So I urge Americans in the strongest possible terms, take this threat seriously. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's coming down the pike, and we must say no.
There's a lot of stupidity with our freedom, but that doesn't mean the government should be spying on you. The thing is, in other countries, they just are. Like in China, they just are.
They already have the social point system.
Social credit score.
Yeah, social credit score.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So if you jaywalk and they get a photo of your face, so they have biometrics, they get a photo of your face, they know it's you, your thing gets dinged, now you can't buy a plane ticket.
That's like Black Mirror stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
reality.
that. Well, they're passing that in the UK right now. In the UK, you need a digital ID to combat, ready for it, illegal immigration. Well, mother, you let the illegal immigrants in on purpose. Like, you guys knew what you were doing, and now you're using it as a justification for digital ID.
I just watched one this morning, actually, about, it was a British judge. A guy got sentenced.
I saw that, yeah.
For however many years for a
20 months, social media post.
For a social media post.
It
was about immigration.
It's getting
complaining
weird,
about immigration.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy. And, you know, it's the best way to control people, you know, and keep them at each other's throats. Like, bring in a bunch of people that the people that live there don't want there and let them duke it out, and then start instituting tighter and tighter restrictions and control.
Many people are a little worried about what will happen to them with the digital euro. Can you encourage them? Why is the digital euro good for people like you and me?
A digital currency where it has been piloted, and there is only one which is clearly now launched in a very small country, but it is piloted on a fairly large scale in China, is of use and of service to all citizens. So it is not something that is good for the elite, or is good for the young, or is good for some versus others. If it is well done and if it is well implemented, it would be of service to all citizens.
And why are you and so many others against it when it's normal in most parts of Europe? Do you not trust Whitehall to keep the information safe?
Firstly, this is Britain. This is one of the things that makes us different, our relationship with the state. But number one, it's not going to stop a single illegal migrant. It's not going to work. Everybody, even Ed Balls, who used to be in the Labour government, has said that literally on air. Secondly, the government itself was warned by its own experts that this would actually make all of our information vulnerable, because you've got one access data point and the criminals can attack that. But thirdly, of course, it's going to give lots of information to the government they can use as they wish. And we saw in COVID, and we saw with Tony Blair, that governments sometimes are quite ruthless.
Many of the so-called Many believe that the so-called liberal world order was acceptable or even convenient. Well, yes, hierarchy would limit the capability of those who are not at the top of the pyramid of the food chain, if you permit me. But still, at the same time, they reside at the food, but still that would lift a big chunk of responsibility from them. Just the rules are as follows: just accept the set of conditions, fit into the system, and you receive your dues, and be happy, think of nothing. Others will think and make decisions instead of you. No matter what they say, no matter what they use as pretexts, that was the case, and the experts in this room know that. Some people were conceited enough to believe that they can admonish everybody. Others played up to the strong ones, being obedient, bargaining cheap in item and trade, avoiding problems and receiving their small perks. And now in the old world in Europe, we have a lot of such politicians left still. Those who were not in agreement, tried to uphold their interests, were considered kind of weirdos, to put it mildly. And they were told nothing will come out of that, and so you're nothing against our power, an empty spot. The most recalcitrant ones were educated by the self-proclaimed grandees, and without any scruples, and resistance was useless, they said. That did not result in anything good. Not a single global problem was resolved. At the same time, still new and new problems keep piling up. The global governance institutions created in the past either don't operate and work properly or have lost their efficiency to a huge extent. No matter what capability or potential a single country might have, any power has its limits.
There are many ways this system could be abused, and there are not enough protections to ensure that it doesn't become mandatory. Furthermore, the protections which do exist are not robust and leave the door open for activities such as online banking to become highly inconvenient without a digital ID. At least the system should be voluntary for users who would like the convenience of having their data stored in one digital location and in no more. If people don't want it, they shouldn't have to use it. Mark my words, it won't be long before digital ID will become a condition of employment in this country, and as sure as night follows day, the corporate sector will adopt the system on behalf of the government. These laws must be repealed urgently, and I thank Senators Hanson, Roberts, Babbitt, Canavan and Rennick for co-sponsoring this bill.
To rely on labour that exploits foreign workers and undercuts fair wages, but the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, we could be we're being tracked every day anyway through the use of our mobile phones. I suppose what I think is some people complain about immigration. Some people complain about people complaining about immigration. You know, we all need to do whatever we can to support the government to manage immigration, and identity cards are a way of doing that. It's something people have been calling for a while, and I think it needs to be thought through. I was surprised at the announcement yesterday, which did seem to come out of the blue. I think people need to be prepared for this, but I think ultimately it's the right thing to do.
I just don't see the point of not having them, because we have ID all the time with, you know, driving licenses, often carry our passports around, so yeah, I don't have a problem with them.
I mean, I think there are civil liberty concerns about it. I'm kind of worried about how that will be enforced, what people will be forced to choose. I wonder how effective it will be about actually managing it, and I think in the current climate, I think it puts emphasis on the experience of kind of asylum seekers and immigrants and migrants to this country, when often they're just trying to live life and do things and get on like we all are. So I'm not in support of it based on what I've seen so far.
I think in principle it's a good idea. I think the idea of the ID card is in principle a very good idea. I'm hugely concerned about the whole push towards AI and digital, because of course, you know, we know that there are dangers with holding an enormous amount of people's information digitally. It gets lost, it gets taken, it gets used. We don't know what happens with it, and I think it comes with a huge number of pitfalls. I think it needs to be looked at very, very carefully, because I think there are huge implications. I think there are particular bonuses to it, but I think there are huge implications ethically as well.
Well, we had them. I had one. I mean, I had one in the 50s. So it didn't cause, I was only a child obviously then, but it didn't cause any bother then.
No, I don't agree with anything Starmer does.
Why not?
Because he's no good at his job.
Why are you against the ID cards?
Well, I don't think anything he does is any good.
Probably not the best of ideas, because like with anything digital, everything can be changed. So yeah, it's like you look at the way things get hacked, and it's bad enough you can get fake IDs as it is, and with everything online, it just makes things a bit more less human, because you don't get the whole thing of like you're interacting with someone, instead you're interacting with a machine. So
these top kind of data protection companies or like these tech firms can't protect people's data. Who's to say that Westminster can do any better, or Whitehall, or whoever it is? Just, it's a bit of a concern and like a bit of an infringement.